Hi, and welcome. Today, we want to cover a topic that's near and dear to our hearts: manufacturers, and specifically when it comes to manufacturers, how can streamline their ability to create product catalogs and spare part reordering scenarios to where we don't have to do a lot of manual processes and we can really get these systems interconnected in a visual way. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, why did we want to solve this problem? First of all, most product catalogs suck. Plain and simple, there's really no way around this. There are a few major problems that we highlight here, and we hear pretty often, namely finding parts, very difficult. So that could be searching for parts that you either have as assets or finding those parts visually as they relate to an underlying assembly. So something like my lawnmower broke, something else broke inside this machine. What can we do to reorder that spare part or those spare part assemblies? From there, disconnected from ordering systems. So specifically, we work with Salesforce, but obviously we see a lot of these catalogs that end up having to be rekeyed or keyed into multiple systems. So what we want to do is reduce the friction. And in order to do that, we need to interconnect these systems. So an example we'll be looking at today, we're going to be adding items back into a cart. That cart is just hosted by Salesforce within the digital experience cloud, but it literally could be anything inside of Salesforce. Really want to make sure that we're talking about how tight those things are interconnected between both systems. And then if you do have interactive parts reordering, another reason why they typically are not so great is the maintenance of these things. So once you get it set up, what does it look like in order to add new hotspots, or what does it look like to add in new elements whenever those parts and products change? So all of these are kind of the reason why we were motivated to push towards this for our manufacturing customers. And really, we want to take a look at is how quickly we can get this set up and maintain it within Salesforce. So prior to jumping into the demonstration, we wanted to be clear about what was done prior to this. We want to make sure everybody's on the same page. When we think about what was done or what we need to do, typically with an implementation, we're going to be bulk inserting some of these records, namely product records, setting up pricing information for those. And that way we have a good clean slate to be able to integrate from our PDF or our other import sources and connect those elements to those records so we can start doing things like adding them to cart. So for this demonstration, we added in a couple of those product records. Again, that would be done during our implementation phase. And then we also created a Lightning Flow, which if you're not familiar with Lightning Flow, there are a bunch of great resources on Trailhead. But within the Lightning Flow, being able to add elements to the cart was pretty simplistic. We put together a demonstration flow for that, and we'll be connecting into that for this example. So let's jump in. I'm going to switch tabs here, jump into our Salesforce screen. And this is actually just a Salesforce org that we've got our Salesforce package installed, our render draw Salesforce package. You'll notice under our main application, so if we click on the action menu here and we push view all, we can jump into the tools and settings. And that's really where we're going to be starting here because we're going to be basing this off of a PDF catalog that we're going to be importing. So let's go ahead and jump in here. Now, when we make this selection, you'll see that our different data utilities are here. We also do a lot of work with CAD. We do some work with CSVs, but today we're going to be focusing on PDF catalogs, getting those in and creating an interactive reordering scenario with them. So for that, let's make a selection and find our PDF. We'll go ahead and utilize this one. Now, for this, what we're really trying to do is identify those images that are in that PDF. And again, it's important to note that all of this is happening natively inside of Salesforce. So there's no other plugins that are necessary. We're not offloading your data into some other server. All this is happening natively directly inside of Salesforce. But really what we're trying to do here is take this and make it an automated parts catalog that we can reorder these underlying parts from. So this is our spare part catalog. We want to be able to take this image and then allow our users to click on those to be able to go and add them to our cart and then process that order. So it's much more streamlined. So for this, we can make multiple selections here if we want. If it's only makes sense, we can add in a single record. But for this, what we want to do is make that selection for the images we want to import. We'll push proceed. From here, we're going to relate this to an object inside of Salesforce. I'm going to relate this to a product record that we created earlier. And from that product record, we're going to link it to the specific product itself. So this air and water pump. Now, what we're really doing behind the scenes here is actually taking that image from the PDF and then creating that file directly inside of Salesforce so we can use it as the background for our parts reordering for that given part or component. Now you can see here while I was talking, we actually uploaded the file here from page 15. The items were successfully saved. And if we wanted to take a look, we can either take a look directly at the image by clicking on this to go to the saved image, which would view the image directly. But probably what we want to do is actually take a look at that product catalog or the product item. So clicking on that second button takes us directly to the product here. If we want to take a look at the related files here, you'll see we've got the file uploaded into the files list here, but also if we need to make some changes, this is an important part as well. The render draw application has annotate built into it. So simple annotations, really, really easy. If we want to do something like crop or adjust or make some call outs, type in some labels, we can do all of that right here inside of Salesforce. And then when we push done, we actually upload or save a new version of that photo to be used for our 2D interaction that we're going to be creating here. Now, speaking of 2D interactions, let's jump into our 2D admin screen, which I have added to this 2D admin tab here. And because this is a new product that we set up, we're going to go directly from the beginning of getting this started and getting it set up right from the get-go here. So from here, I'll set up the admin settings for this record. And with that, we're going to have to refresh the page. After refreshing the page, we'll jump back into our admin screen and we'll be able to see that we have kind of a blank slate here. So how do we utilize that image that we just imported from the PDF into this product visualization? Well, from here, we're going to go into show environment options. Our scene and environment options are going to give us the ability to select a file. And because we uploaded that file directly to the relationship, we're showing those here in the related list where we can make a selection and then save. Now, obviously, a couple other things are going to need to happen for us to be able to interact with this in the way we want. As you can see right here, there is really no scrolling or interaction, what we would call a draggable canvas. We also want to be able to give the users the ability to zoom in and zoom out. So I'm going to go ahead and check those as well, a draggable canvas and a zoomable canvas. You'll see that our end users now have the ability to zoom in and out based off of these buttons. And then they can always recenter if they get off track by pushing this map button here. So I'm pretty happy with this as kind of a baseline layout here. There's one more thing that we're going to want to do. And under environment options and menu options, we want to show the layout drawing menu. So when we think about layout drawing, really what that means is we're going to want to have clickable hotspots that our users can then make selections on, and from the selections go in and do some other work. So in this case, we're going to be making selections and then going and adding those items to the cart based off of the items that are inside of Salesforce. And this really should be all we need to do to get all this set up. So we encourage our users to save frequently. With this, I'll save this to make sure our records are going to be set up properly this next time. And now here's where we're starting to get into the Einstein piece. So what really kind of stinks is when we are setting this up, I mentioned before, making selections and adding areas is kind of a difficult pain when it comes to this. I mean, we have a really good way of doing this for Salesforce administrators by allowing them to draw areas. Those areas are drawn with boxes like you see here. And then we have the ability to make changes as we see fit. Looks like I gotta move myself here. So make these changes over and over again to change the colors, change what we're relating to. But doing this for every single part or every single call out, the balloon call outs we have here, really kind of get in the way of being efficient when we do these things. Because we've talked to customers that have tens of thousands of these PDF catalogs that they want to import. So how do we do this? So our goal is to make this as simple as possible. And in order to do that, we know that Einstein Vision exists. And from that, we have the ability to detect using Einstein Vision where each one of those little numbers are based off of the overall drawing here. So in order to trigger this, what we're going to do is go into our layout menu here. And then under areas, you'll see we'll have add using Einstein. Now, what we're going to be doing is actually taking this image and sending it over to the Einstein servers. The server is going to process this and send back the result for us. And in that result, it's going to tell us exactly where those are all over our image. So in order to do this, you have to have had signed up for Einstein already. In order to do that, we go to api.einstein.ai. So you can go and grab our token here. When we make a selection on this, it actually opens up our page here. And I've already done this just for timing's sake. So we'll go ahead and take a copy of our token here. And then we'll paste that token right back inside this tab. Now, once we've pasted this, we can process this file using Einstein OCR, and that's going to go through that and find all of our different results and then tell us the confidence of those results that are coming back. So literally, Einstein's taking this image and analyzing it and pointing out the areas in which we are going to be able to make selections. Now, from here, I'm going to push the create layout areas based off this data button. And you can see now we have highlighted elements for about over 90% of all of our different callouts here. So thusly reducing tons of work that we have to do when we start scaling these over and over again. Now from here, what we want to be able to do is actually link these up to Salesforce records. And in order to do that, I'm going to make a selection on one of these. So you'll see 25 is the name here. I don't really need to add a label because we're already adding in over a label. But what we want to do is add in a linkage here to a product. So you can see I'm searching for the object first. Now from that object, we're going to link it up to an existing product. And we're automatically pulling up the most recent records here. So we can go ahead and select on that example bolt that I wanted to make a selection on. From here, now we have the ability to make selections and link this up. But what do we want our user experience to look like? From this, we really want to take a look at the settings of these layouts. So again, I'm going to expand the area section and then edit the related action. From that related action, we're going to come into on click. We do have data source actions, but that'll be something for another time where we can do some querying and looking up for records inside of Salesforce, and then based off of those records, do something in the scene. But right now, what we want is when a user clicks or taps on those elements, we want to bring up the Lightning Flow that's going to allow us to add this to a cart. So for this, instead of pushing display record details, we're going to push launch Lightning Flow. From here in our Lightning Flow, we'll have a spare parts reorder Lightning Flow that we've created previously. It's active and able to be selected. And as part of this, we're actually going to be passing in a parameter that is related to that product that we've already linked up. So we can go ahead and fetch those details and add it to cart. So let's save this. And from here, we'll go ahead and save this again. And now that we were saved, the next time we go and interact with these pieces inside of here as a user, instead of as an admin, we're going to be able to make a selection and then from there add the item to the cart. So let's take a look what that looks like here. Now for this is the 2D canvas that we're going to be using and what our users would be seeing. That 2D canvas, again, is now panable. We have an infinite canvas that we can move this around. If we want to, we can zoom in as well. And then from here, when we come through here, we'll notice that we linked up this number 25 with the underlying product, and we can launch that flow now. So I'll make the selection. And this is, again, what a user is going to see. They're going to see the product details coming back directly from Salesforce. They're going to see the product image, any description that's related there based off of the Lightning Flow that we created, and then also the quantity that we're going to reorder. So again, this is just displaying quickly the at-a-glance information for that part. And then we push add to order. We get the success message, the item was successfully added to the order, and that's going to go directly into our cart. So this is kind of an overview of how this is going to be scalable for everyone. Again, we started from a PDF catalog that had dozens of images. From that, we kind of honed in on the exact one we wanted. We imported it, saved that off to the product. From there, we analyzed that image with Einstein OCR. We highlighted those areas that are clickable. And from there, those areas that are clickable, we can assign a relationship to another record inside of Salesforce. And in this one, we launched a Lightning Flow that allowed us to add something to the cart, specifically that product that was selected. So here are the problems that we really solved today. Maintaining and setting up those clickable hotspots is really kind of a pain, even with an admin-friendly interface like we have with RenderDraw, where we can make selections. You don't want to set up your admin for failure when it comes to doing this dozens and dozens of times for every single drawing that you have out there. So from there, we also made it really easy for customers to find the part that they need based off of those exploded technical diagrams. They can make selections on the parts inside of those. And from those selections, we can go and display a screen like adding to cart or product details or really anything in between, because we use the power of Lightning Flow inside of Salesforce. And then additionally, we solved the problem of those huge numbers of PDFs, being able to import those and then take individual drawings from those and relate that information directly to Salesforce records. All of that's streamlined through the Render Draw platform. And again, we pipe that directly into Salesforce Einstein. And that's really one of the perks that we have of being a native app from the Salesforce App Exchange. So that was a quick view over what we can do on making the experience better using Render Draw and Einstein Vision. We're really looking forward to how this is going to continue expanding and how we can continue helping manufacturers move into the future. Thank you.